Ladies and gentlemen, this is the story of Rumble, and about his decade-old bug that made him lose few percent damage per game and impacted millions of games, including thousands of pro play games. After patch 25.16, Rumble has gone from sub 47% win rate to over 50% win rate in all ranks. In Emerald Plus, his win rate increased by 5 percentage points, and in Diamond Plus, he went from 48.4% win rate to over 54% win rate, so that's even closer to 6 percentage points of a difference. How is it possible that bug fixes and a little quality of life improvements, combined with a preemptive nerf, can make a champion win rate skyrocket and suddenly become rank 1 top laner in Diamond Plus ELO? Before we answer that question, shout out to War Thunder for sponsoring this video. War Thunder is one of the most comprehensive vehicle combat games, and it is available for free on PC, consoles and mobile devices. In-game, you can pick from over 2,500 different vehicles, including tanks, planes, helicopters and ships of 10 nations, ranging from armored cars of 1920s to the modern fighter jets. War Thunder has a lot of quality content to discover. It lets you immerse yourself in the intense PvP combat thanks to its detailed vehicles, realistic graphics and authentic sound effects. One of my favorite features is Damage X-ray view. It's really cool to see how exactly the vehicle was destroyed. New and returning PC and console players that haven't played the game for at least 6 months will get a massive bonus pack, including 100,000 Silver Lions, 7 days of premium account and exclusive vehicle decorator. Sign up using my links in the description or pinned comment to join the worldwide community of over 95 million players. For many years, Rumble's win rate on the blue side was so much better than on the red side, usually more than 6 percentage points of a difference. An absolutely insane disparity. Pretty much every single patch, Rumble has topped the blue versus red side difference in win rate charts. The difference between sides in Rumble's win rate has often been explained by the way camera works and how UI is placed in League of Legends. In League, any champion that has long-range abilities automatically performs slightly better on the blue side, since whenever you're aiming top or top right, for example in the mid lane, the interface is not bothering you. But on the red side, whenever you're using these long-range abilities and you have to aim, for example, towards the bottom or bottom left, a lot of the time your vision or range will be limited by, for example, your champion's interface. In Rumble's case in particular, it was mostly about the way you aim his ultimate. Since it's a long-range ability that you also need to drag, it was pretty easy to cast it terribly on the red side because of the interface blocking you. However, for example, Xerath, that relies heavily on those long-range abilities, had his win rate difference between sides usually below 2 percentage points. And for Rumble it was regularly over 6 percentage points. And this is where the story gets more interesting. Me and my friend Naerlyn knew with pretty much 100% certainty that red side Rumble has been broken for years. How did we know Rumble was broken though? Back in the day we had Nexus Blitz, and it was possible to track win rates in Nexus Blitz as well. If you look at this cropped screenshot, Rumble's win rate on red side was more than 5 percentage points lower than on the blue side. But unlike Summoner's Rift, Nexus Blitz was a horizontal map, and the way it was played, it was pretty much exactly symmetrical. So interface on the bottom of your screen was equally bothering on the blue side and on the red side. At the time we believed that the reason for such difference was likely a bug related to his passive or his Q. One of my ideas was that Rumble's Q range on the blue side may somehow be bigger than on the red side. I mean, if Cannon Minion on the blue side had more range than the one on the red side for more than a decade, that wouldn't surprise me. But Naerlyn tested that and some other theories as well, and honestly didn't find anything there, so we just kept on waiting. And now we fast forward to the end of July 2025. Chinese creator under the name Anchi has made a post on Reddit describing his findings about Rumble's red side bugs and how they heavily contribute to the difference between the win ratio of Rumble's blue side and red side. It was a variety of bugs regarding mostly Rumble's Q, but also his ult. The most important bug in his discovery was the bug to Rumble's Q. It turns out that when Rumble's Q was used on the red side, its damage would always be delayed by a tick in comparison to blue side, so roughly by a quarter of a second. Now, why is this so bad in Rumble's case? Rumble often uses his Q and turns around a lot in the process. When you used Q against enemy champions on the blue side and immediately turned around, you would always deal 3 ticks of damage. But on the red side, that was always 2 ticks of damage. This meant a potential 33% loss of damage. And it could happen multiple times, even within a single Q. Although when you use your Q fully, the damage was the same on both sides, due to it being delayed on the red side, you were often losing damage. Whenever your Q got interrupted, you usually lost a tick of damage. Now, remember when I said enemy champions, because red side Rumble had delayed Q damage only against champions, but it worked just fine versus minions and monsters. And that's one of the reasons that this bug was so hard to find for years. Practice dummies aren't considered enemy champions for the sake of Rumble's Q. Damage against dummies worked perfectly fine. If you look closely at this clip, you can see that dummy takes 1 more tick of damage than Jinx. First tick of damage is just missing on Jinx. Singed had a very similar bug, where his Q on the red side would deal 1 tick of damage less, and it also got fixed in the same patch as Rumble. But in Singed's case, this didn't happen as often, and his Q does damage in more ticks. On blue side it was at least 8 ticks of damage with Q, and on the red side it was 7, so it's a much different story than 3 versus 2. Rumble ult also had a similar delay on the red side. In some instances, it could even make enemies standing still take 1 tick of damage less on the red side. When enemy champions stood at the top of start of Rumble ult, they took 10 ticks of damage on both sides. At the end of Rumble ult, 9 ticks of damage on both sides. But if the enemy stood in the middle of the ult, blue side Rumble would deal 10 ticks of damage, but red side Rumble would take only 9 ticks of damage. Rumble Q has had a bunch of bug fixes in the first year after his release in 2011. Funnily enough, in patch 4.9 in June 2014, Riot even fixed a Rumble Q bug that would make him deal less damage than intended when he was on a purple team. Back then, purple team was what current red team is. If you look at Rumble clips from 5 or 10 years ago, you can see that red side Rumble was already broken at that time. What's worse is that a lot of very important matches in pro play have been impacted by this bug. Pretty much any time Rumble was picked on the red side in the past few years, he was at a severe disadvantage. And because red side was so bad, to make Rumble have a decent win rate, blue side Rumble also had to be stronger than it should. You might be wondering, how much damage was Rumble actually losing as a result of his bug? Just before Riot fixed this bug, Naerlyn decided to test Rumble in ranked, so we can tell you the exact number. He calculated how much damage he lost through one entire game and made a spreadsheet with damage lost. Already in the first few minutes, he missed the first blood at level 3 by 44 HP. He lost 54 damage between the start of the game and minute 3. Between 9:30 and 12 minutes, so in 1 recall's worth of time, he lost 424 damage. In this fight between 1820 and 1825, so in just 5 seconds, he has lost 192 damage. When you eventually add up all these numbers, after a 30-minute game, he has lost a total of 2561 damage. In that game, Naerlyn dealt 39,914 damage, so overall 6.4% of his total damage has been lost. It is a very game-changing bug. Imagine losing 6 or 7% damage every single game as a result of a bug. Now you may also be thinking, how was this bug even possible? Freak has made a detailed video about it, and he explained how it was a problem with order of events in League of Legends. I'm gonna try to simplify it. Singed Q, Rumble Q, and Rumble ult applied their damage over time using debuffs to enemy champions in a certain order. Order was blue champions, red champions, and then minions. So when blue side Rumble used his Q, it was immediately in the same turn applied to red champions and also minions. But because red champions were in order after the blue champions, red champions only applied the damage instantly to minions, but to blue champions only a full rotation later. As a result, red team Rumble's Q damage to blue team champion was always delayed by a tick. Now what about detailed red versus blue win rate statistics? Before Riot has bug fixed Rumble, I recorded champion win rates by side in Platinum Plus from League of Graph's website. Rumble was at the very top with almost 7 percentage points difference in win rate by side. Singed was second with 3.5 percentage point difference. Now let's look at the statistics in the patch after Bugfix. Singed win rate difference by side more than halved, and it is currently 1.4 percentage point. It means he dropped from 2nd place to 39th on the list when it comes to win rate differences by side. Rumble has occupied 1st place in win rate difference by side for literally years. He was always at the very top. And then, after the Bugfix, Rumble dropped from 1st to 57th. The difference after the Bugfix is only 1.2 percentage points, and it used to be 6.8, so the difference decreased by more than 5 times. Rumble players have probably enjoyed these past 2 weeks, but because Rumble's win rate increased so much, he also had to get hit by a follow-up nerfs to his passive and his Q. Honestly, it's great to finally have this mystery solved after so many years. Special thanks to Naerlyn for helping with this video. Thanks to you guys for watching, and thanks to War Thunder for sponsoring the video. Sign up for free using my links in pinned comment and description. PC and console players that are new or returning after 6 months will receive a massive bonus pack. Cheers!